Breakfast. Is it the most important meal of the day? I hear this all the time. You have to eat breakfast as soon as you get out of bed. And throughout the day, you have to eat constantly. Otherwise, you're going to be consumed by hunger and be stuffing your face full of Krispy Kreme donuts. And you can't ever skip a meal because that's super unhealthy for you, right? This is what happened. If you look at surveys of what American eating habits, in the 1970s, we ate 3 meals a day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's no snacks in between. If you tried to have an after-school snack, your mom would probably slap you on the hand and say, "You're going to ruin your dinner." There's no snacks at bedtime. There's no snacks in between halves at the soccer game. There was just no snacks. You had a snack once in a while, and it's a real treat. Now, we're eating all the time. Into the 2000s, you can see from surveys that we're eating on an average 6 times a day. In order to accommodate all that eating, the societal norms have changed. So instead of just eating at a table with your family, we eat all the time. You can eat while you're walking, you can eat while you're talking, you can eat in front of the TV, you can eat while working, you can eat at the computer. Anywhere you want to go, you can still eat. And that's okay, because we have to eat all the time, right? Well, what's happened? Well, we had an obesity crisis. So let's step back a bit and think about breakfast. The word breakfast means, literally, the meal that breaks your fast. But nowhere in there does it say that you must eat it as soon as your feet hit the ground, as soon as you wake up. No. North Americans often get told that eating a huge breakfast, eating big quantities at breakfast, is really good for weight loss, as ridiculous as that sounds. That eating more will make you lose weight. And they're a very notoriously obese nation. France, on the other hand, is a very notoriously skinny nation. The French word for breakfast is petit déjeuner, or little lunch. The key word here, of course, being little. It doesn't have to be a huge meal. Why do we believe that we have to eat so much as soon as we get up? Well, we're told that it's to provide us fuel for the rest of the day. But the truth is that our bodies do that for us naturally and automatically. What happens when you look at the circadian rhythm, which is the pattern of hormones throughout the day, is that just before you wake up in the morning, somewhere around 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, your body sends out a pulse of cortisol, adrenaline, and growth hormone. And what that does is it tells the body to start pumping sugar into the blood. And that gives us energy for the rest of the day. In essence, we're already gassed up and ready to go. You don't have to eat to provide this fuel. Look at children. Most children will instinctively avoid eating at the very beginning of the day because they're just not that hungry. It's only after years of forcing breakfast on them that they have learned to be hungry. It's simply not necessary. Does eating breakfast really prevent hunger later in the day? Well, studies really don't show this at all. The amount that people will eat at lunch and dinner is quite similar whether you eat breakfast or you don't eat breakfast. So, by eating breakfast, you're simply eating more. You can't skipping breakfast as an excuse to eat a muffin at 10:30, but what you eat at lunch will often be the same. But here's the real problem with breakfast. We're always in a hurry in the morning. We need to get our kids to school. We need to get to work. We have an early meeting. There's so many things. We want something that we can just grab and go. So we demand the convenience and the shelf life of processed grains and sugar. So these foods that we eat at breakfast are really just thinly disguised desserts. We eat sugary cereals, we'll eat toast, we'll eat danishes, we'll eat donuts, we'll eat muffins, we'll eat sugary yogurt. The vast majority of children, for example, 73% eat sugared cereal in the morning, compared to only 12% that will eat eggs. So it's not necessary to eat breakfast, and when we do eat breakfast, we eat the things that are most unhealthy for us. And that's a problem. We've upset the delicate balance of being in a fed state and a fasted state. What I mean is this. If you eat 3 meals a day with no snacks in between, you're going to spend about 12 hours of the day eating. When you eat, your body stores that energy, so in essence it's a fat storage mode. But it's okay, because for 12 hours of the day, we're not eating, or we're fasting. And during that time, our bodies are going to bring some of that energy back out to power our bodies. So half of the day, we're in fat storage mode, and half of the day, we're in fat burning mode. Fine, works out well. But now what's happened? Now we tell people, eat as soon as you get up. Eat constantly throughout the day until the minute you go to bed. So instead of being 50-50, we're now spending 70-80% of the time in fat storage mode. And that's why we get fat. So here's the bottom line. Breakfast means you can break your fast, but do it at any time of the day. Whether you do it when you get up or whether you do it at 12 o'clock noon, it's fine. But stay away from all those unhealthy processed foods that people tend to eat at breakfast time. Don't eat constantly. You want to balance the fed state and the fasted state. Try to eat all your meals at a table, not in the front of the computer in front of the TV. One final thought. If we think about breakfast or breaking our fast, that implies that we should be fasting every day. Whether it's for 12 hours, 14 hours, or even longer, it's a part of daily life. Don't graze throughout the day, for God's sake. If we were meant to graze, we'd be cows.